Say hi! Hey friends, so I decided that I was going to do a video of my tonsillectomy, and basically it's just because the videos that I watched and the people that I talked to were not positive, and that's kind of discouraging going into surgery. Well, the people that are going to have it done, if they hear a positive story or a not so negative story, I wouldn't say that I had a great time, but if they hear a story that wasn't so bad, then they'll go in positive and they'll have a positive experience. So I just wanted to go ahead and talk about my time without tonsils, and yep, that's about it, and stuff like that. So a majority of the time they say you need 2 weeks off, 14 days, and they say 14 days soft food, and they say that basically you're going to be in so much pain, and your pain meds, they give you like 3 different kinds. I'm just trying to do an overview of it. So I guess I should also do the background of why I got mine done, because everyone thinks it's only because you're sick all the time, which I was sick a lot with mine, but the main reason I got mine done is because they were so big. So my tonsils were like this big. Like when I opened my mouth and showed people, I could touch them together, like make them touch in the back, and that was really disgusting. And they'd have white pockets in them all the time. It's funny, actually on our honeymoon, when I was coming back with Brandon, I looked in the back of my throat because it was kind of hurting, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's that little white pocket, and it's like kind of sticking out. It looks like a pimple. And so I stuck my finger in there and like poked it, and it popped out, and I started gagging. I was like, this is a great way to end our honeymoon, but good thing that he loves me. But so I had them taken out for that reason, and my doctor was like, why didn't you get this done when you were 4? And I was like, because so many doctors told me that they would regress. No, they might regress when you're really young, but even then they want to take them out because they're like, what if they don't regress? Because, I mean, then you're going to have it done as an adult. And they say it sucks as an adult. So, anyways, they let mine go on, and they were like, no, they'll regress, they're fine. No. I went into the ENT, and they, like, opened my mouth, and they go, oh wow, and they're like, yeah, you should have had those out when you were 4, and I'm like, yeah, I should have, but I'm 19 and having them out instead. So yeah, so that's why I had them out, and I scheduled it for like 4 months in advance because I wanted to do it while I was out of school, because professors are ruthless, and they're like, oh, you're gonna miss for your surgery, that's gonna really hurt. Oh, that's fine, you get a 0 on your test. So I had it done right before Thanksgiving break, and I just kind of skipped to the surgery, I guess, because that waiting period was kind of whatever until like the week before, and then I'm kind of like, but I had a lot of time to watch videos and get terrified because everyone's review is so bad. But no, the day of the surgery I went in and waited in the waiting room for a while. They called me back, and I'd never had surgery before, and so they put me, I get in this gown or whatever, and let me just add that the chaplain busts up in there without knocking, which I know it's a curtain and you can't knock, but you at least say, hey, are you dressed? I mean, I was, but still. Anyways, so I get down into the bed and stuff, and they come in to do my IV. And I don't know if you can tell, but I don't have good veins. Like, you can't even see them. And so, I mean, this one you can a little bit better, but they wanted to do it in this one. So I don't really have veins, and so it was my first IV. And I'm not bad with needles, I just don't like watching. And so, like, the woman's trying to put it in, I'm like, And so she got it in first try, thank goodness. It wasn't too bad. And then the bad part, I'd say the worst part of the whole thing was the meds that they put in my IV. So they had to do a round of steroids for swelling because they had to intubate you when you have tonsillectomy. And so that's just the breathing tube down your throat. And so they want to get rid of all the swelling in there, because if it swells up and you can't breathe, that's where he's working. He's trying to cut out of, so makes sense. And they're like, we're just going to put this in, and you're just going to feel a slight little burn, you know. And my dad had told me that he had this done when he had surgery on his nose for the same reason. Not tonsillectomy on his nose, but he had surgery on his nose, but to prevent swelling. Anyways, So he had it done, and they said, you're gonna feel some tingling in your groin, and it lit him up. And he told me about it the day before, no, sitting in the waiting room before. And I'm like, okay. And I don't make the connection when they say, hey, this is gonna burn in your groin. I'm like, okay, because my dad had said they only did that for his surgery. Okay, no. And my dad and Brandon are both in the room. They shoot that up in my arm. My whole body like lights on fire, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, and I don't cry in front of people, but I started bawling. Like, I was like, this sucks. And I could like feel it bubbling in my head and stuff, but that was the worst part of the whole thing. But they took me back into surgery and everything was fine, whatever. Knocked me out. Last thing I remember is thinking that the anesthesiologist was the evil queen and I was Snow White and she was giving me a poisonous apple. And then I woke up and I was like, this feels weird. It feels like there's like, just like something, just like a sheet stuck in the back of my throat. And I'm like, and the woman's like, you want some water? I'm like, and I was like terrified to talk because I'm like, what if it like stings and burns? So anyways, skip over that. Surgery day was fine. I left, everything's good. I went immediately to Walgreens, got my pain meds. Oh, here's the story. I get to Walgreens to get my pain meds and they're like, okay, here's these two. This is all of them. Okay, no. They had called in my pain meds to just any Walgreens because I wanted them before I got back home because the surgery was an hour and a half from home and they wanted them in my system like soon. Okay, I think those two meds are it, and I'm too high to notice that on my discharge papers there's 2 other medications listed. I don't get those 2, okay? And literally like day 3 of surgery, after surgery, I noticed that I didn't have all my pills. Never even got them. So I went through the surgery with only 2 pills instead of all 4 like I was supposed to have. Bad decision. Get all your meds, even though they weren't pain meds. So the 2 meds that I didn't get was Zofran and something, I don't know, it's a steroid, and that's what's supposed to help with the swelling. So I had swelling longer than I should have, but it's fine. And the Zofran I really needed because with the tonsillectomy and those pain meds, you get really sick because you can't eat because your throat. And so empty stomach and pain meds do not mix. So I wanted to vomit every single day that I woke up. And one morning I did vomit. That was a bad experience. We'll get to that. But let's see. I've talked about surgery day. Wasn't bad. I ate some popsicles and some soup. They want you to do strictly liquids the first day. So I did the popsicles and chicken broth. That was fine. Didn't have any issues on day 1. Day 2 I woke up, went to my parents, drove about an hour. Went to Walmart, did some other stuff. Pain was kind of like a sore throat. Wasn't bad. I was like, this is a joke. Ate some potato soup, you know. Another thing I forgot to add, on day 2, I had the worst rash ever. So my pain meds, I guess my body was trying to adjust to them because they'd never had them before. And I started itching all over, and I itched so much I was turning red. My face like was rashed all through here and like down my chest. It was so bad, and it itched, burned so bad. I thought I might have to go to the emergency room for that because I thought I was having a reaction to the meds. It wasn't because of the surgery, just the meds. I had never had them before, and so I kind of slacked off of them a little bit that day and tried to ease into them. And also, I'm trying to think what else happened on that day. Oh yeah, okay, so day 2 I woke up and my uvula, the little ball thing that hangs in the back, was so swollen. Oh my gosh. And surgery day 2. Yeah, because I remember getting out of surgery and I was like, it was like almost hitting my tongue sometimes when I talked or did something. I'm like, and it kind of feels like you're choking on it, so you have to be careful of that too. If you lay in your head back and don't lay it all the way back, because the uvula, if it's really bad swollen, it'll like land in the back of your throat and like gag you. So you gotta be careful with that. But that swelling went down like day 3 or 4. The uvula did. And the rash went away after day 2. I just went to sleep and woke up and it was pretty relaxed. But I had to take Benadryl. So if you start having that rash, just down some Benadryl and that helps a lot. So, and Day 3 was about the same. Now, nights weren't fun. They weren't bad though. I'd wake up on time to take my pills. You have to do that. Do not skip and say, I can sleep through the night and wake up and take them. Don't do that. If you have to take one at 2, get up at 2. And so I kept them in my system and everything, and I got a humidifier. Do that. That's good too. It keeps it from drying out because that really burns in the morning if it dries out. So then day 4 rolls around, which I knew it was going to get bad before it got good. Like, that's how it works. Day 4, I woke up. I was in a lot of pain and I was nauseous because my stomach hadn't had anything in a little while, and it was like, no. So I just remember being in a lot of pain that day. I slept like the whole day. It wasn't anything intolerable though. I just kept meds in me every 4 hours. I was on oxycodone and a form of hydro that was slow release. So I took 1 hydro a day, and it slowly throughout the day would release more for pain. And then the oxy was just like slow or was faster and just like immediate relief. And day 4 wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great. So day 5 rolls around, and Brandon has to go to work because it's Monday. So I'm there alone, and I remember that being a bad day. I was so hungry, so nauseous. I was just laying around useless. And I would sleep as much as I could. I'd wake up to take pain pills and go back to sleep because it hurt. The back of my throat just kind of felt like there was just something stuck in it the whole time, and that kind of sucks. Day 5, day 6 were about the same. Now I will say day 6 I threw up. I woke up, puked, because I was so nauseous, like it was bad. But after I puked, I felt better, and so I started like doing things. Like I got up and tried to clean up the table where I'd been because I had a collection of soups and stuff just laying there. I was like, no, I'm gonna eat it as I go. And then, let's see, those days were bad, and at night it was bad. So I just remember day 6, puking. I was okay though after I puked, like I wasn't as nauseous, but I still remember it hurting. And that night, the nights were the worst part because it dries out while you're asleep. And so I was trying to wean myself off of the pain medicine at this point because I didn't want to rely on it and have to, they always have those horror stories of getting addicted to it, and I was like, I ain't doing that. And I hate taking medicine anyways, like I hardly will. So I was like, no, and I need to lay off of them. Well, that wasn't a good idea. So I took some again to try to get the pain away at night. And I woke up in the middle of that night panicking. The scabs in the back have to come off eventually. And if you stay hydrated, that's another thing. Stay hydrated, drink. If it hurts, drink and eat. Eat soups. It hurts really bad and you don't feel like it, but you have to do it. You'll get better so much faster. Like my scabs aren't supposed to come off till like day 9, and day 6, like what I'm about to talk about, they started coming off because I was staying so well hydrated and eating. So it heals a lot faster. And so day 6, that night, I was in bed and they had started coming off. Well, when they start coming off, they get irritated and it's raw underneath where they're coming off. And so I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought my throat was on fire. Like I literally thought there was a fire in it. So I started panicking, having a panic attack. And Brandon woke up and was like, are you okay? And he didn't know what to do. And I was like, and I was just panicking, like I wouldn't talk. And I was hiding my face under the covers because the fan was going. And the cold air was coming down into my throat and hitting the raw spots. Burnt so bad. I put my head in the covers. This was probably the only point that I thought I might need to go to the ER. Only point. And it was just because it was on fire and I didn't know what was happening because I'd been asleep and woke up and was just in shock. And then I finally calmed down, pulled myself together, was so nauseous. Went in there by the toilet, laid in the floor. It was bad. And then I finally got myself together, went back in there, drank some, that helped keep from the dry throat, and went back to bed, woke up next morning, was okay. Was decent, And so day 7, it was like a turn for me. Like I wouldn't say it was a turn for me, but it was a lot better. It was, the pain had went away enough that I stopped the pain meds. So I went off the painkillers and I just started taking extra strength Tylenol. That was a good decision because the nausea went away and I was able to eat. Not a lot, but I could. It was Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving. It was day 6, and so I had to go to Thanksgiving at Brandon's family's. And I had like pea-sized amounts, just trying to eat. And I wanted to eat so bad at this point because I was better. And I was like, I mean, I'm just so hungry. And my throat, I was too scared. It was psychological. It was like, you can't eat. You can't do it. And so I was just starving, I remember. So I was starting to get in a bad mood. And that's one thing they don't talk about. They don't talk about the depression that comes with it, because there is. Don't let them lie to you. Someone here? No, but they don't talk about that. That was not something that I was worried about. But, and it's not necessarily a side effect that comes with it, the pills or something like that. It's just that comes with, you've been laying in bed for over a week in so much pain on painkillers, and it drowns you of any form of happiness that you have. The fact that you have this lump in your throat and you're miserable and you haven't ate and you're just like, I want some pizza. Like, that's what's going on in your head, and so you get depressed. So that's something that they don't really talk about, but that comes with it, and you have to be prepared for that. So I encourage, by days like 5, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe, if yours goes that long, in the bad pain section, that's the bad pain part, have friends, have mom there, have someone there. I was alone at home most of those days, so I was just like sleeping, and that didn't help. But if you have someone there, then it's not as bad. And so then day 7 was Thanksgiving. I went to my grandparents and had pea-sized amounts. And finally I got so mad after we had ate that I was like, forget this. I'm eating. Like, my throat is hurting, but it's fine. I gotta get food in me. So I just started like eating things. Like, I grabbed a cracker with some spinach dip, just threw it in my mouth. And then I started eating like drunk weenies and stuff, those little bacon wrapped sausages and stuff. I was like, I am so mad and hungry. And so I started eating and stuff like that. And after I did that, I got better. Like, instantly. Like, eating and drinking is key. Like I said, it clears that out. So my scab started falling off, and the scabs falling off burns. It's not the same hurt that you have on day 4 and 5, just the pain. It's a burning sensation, kind of like something sliced up the back of your throat. And so warm coffee, every single morning I just got some sweet tea, put it in a mug, heated it up for 30 seconds, downed it, and it helped because it had been cold from just sleeping overnight, because we keep our house really cold and stuff like that. But that really, really helped, so I recommend that. And just cold things really hurt, so I only drink room temp past day like 6. And now I am on day 12? No, 13. I'm on day 13 right now, and I am fine. I don't have any issues. There's still some scab in the back, and I'll insert some pictures at the end of like what days in the pictures was. I didn't take that many pictures though, honestly. It was hard to, because my tongue got really swollen. Yeah, that's another thing. During surgery, they use this mouth guard and it smashes your tongue. My tongue hurt worse than my throat some days. Like the sides of it smashed against my teeth, so that hurt. And your jaw hurts really bad too. And earache too. Those are things that you don't think about. They hurt. So I say just a mixture of all of that happening was why people say it's so bad. But day 8, I was fine, ready to roll. I ate some nachos. They say to only eat soft foods for 14 days. So do that. Follow your doctor's orders. I did not. I had nachos. I was fine. I'm still fine. And then, why are you squeaking? And then on the next day I had Mexican, spicy, you're not supposed to have that. And then I had burgers, whatever. I have ate whatever I want since that day. So I'm fine. And it really wasn't that bad, you know. It wasn't fun. I don't really want to do it again. Would I do it again? Honestly, I kept saying I wouldn't, but at this point I might, because in the past few nights that's healed, I have slept so good, because I think I had sleep apnea from my tonsils being so huge. But it's so much better now. so much. And so my biggest tips are drink and eat. Do it. Force yourself. Do not slack on that. Take your pain pills on time when it says. Get a humidifier, a cool mist one. I bought a heat one and then I found out that it has to be cool. And let's see, what's some other things? Popsicles. Those popsicles with the corners that slice your mouth, you know, in the plastic packages, those are good. Let's see, what else? Chicken broth, chicken noodles, the stars. The noodles are really long. I didn't like that. The stars go down really easy. Let's see, what else? Eating ice at night before bed helps numb it before you go to sleep. An ice pack, oh my gosh. During the days where I had pain, the ice pack helped the most, probably. And it helped with the swelling because I forgot the steroids, you know, at Walgreens. They told me that was my only medicine. I don't know why. It's probably my fault, but I'm putting it off on someone else. And just have stuff to do. Sleep. Anything like that. Because it gets boring and lonely. Keep your head elevated. Prevents swelling. And I recommend getting off the painkillers as soon as you can, because the longer you lean on them, the more you're going to lean on them. Addiction. So I was off of mine by day 6 or 7. So I recommend getting off yours as soon as you can. Extra strength Tylenol helped a lot, so I recommend that. And I think that's all. I'm trying to think if I forget anything. No. All I can say is it really isn't that bad. You see a lot of things that say it's horrible. It wasn't fun, no. But it was doable. You get to points where you're like, this sucks. And you're texting everyone and you're like, I hate my life. I'm in so much pain. I need to go to the ER, but you're fine. You're just overreacting because you're tired of hurting. So, you know, just my greatest tip really is to eat and drink. Like, that was the main thing that I think I did that made my experience so good, is I kept water in me, and that flushed everything out and tried to get the scabs off faster. And that also helps the scabs to dissolve rather than fall off, because if they're dry, they're just going to start flaking off, and you taste them and you gag on them and stuff like that. Mine never happened like that. I kept so much water in me that they just dissolved or they slid down without me knowing. So that is a key. Stay hydrated. You don't want to be dehydrated or anything like that while you're going through a tonsillectomy. Like, you don't want to do both. So I recommend that, and I guess that's all. But if anyone has any questions or anything, just comment below, message me if you know me, whatever you need to do, and I will try my best to answer your questions. And, you know, all I can say is my experience wasn't that bad compared to most people and what I hear about them. So, you know, if you go in with a positive mindset, like I did, I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna, you know, come through this. I have a high pain tolerance. I may not really, but I told myself I did. And just say, you know, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna do all of this, and I'm gonna be better before 2 weeks, because school starts in 12 days after my surgery. So I'm gonna be better by then. So I just told myself that, and I was better. Day 6, I was fine. Like, better. I could do things. So, you know, if y'all have any questions or anything, just comment down below. And, yeah. So, thanks for watching. Say bye, Meanie. Okay, no. It's your turn. Okay, bye. Bye.